In Beachfront Lane, a miserable young man, Scotty McKay, encounters a magic lamp that grants his greatest desire to be with the woman of his dreams, only to find himself looking the other way. In a seaside restaurant, servers Scotty and Mac watch Dana, a supermodel, in a TV commercial while they attend to their customer. Since their boss isn't around, Scotty asks his coworker to cover for him as he leaves for work to check on his sick girlfriend. Arriving with flowers, he enters his beach house unannounced, finding his boss Charlie and girlfriend Cindy unclothed on the bed. Enraged, Scotty confronts them and kicks his cheating lover out of his house, so Charlie fires him. Right after, his landlord, Murray, enters and orders him to leave for not paying rent. Down on his luck, Scotty sighs and hopes for a miracle to happen. In a heavenly place, Magnus O'Leary gathers the spiritual beings to give them new tasks. He first calls Genie Peterson, a magical genie who enters late. Genie's next assignment is on Earth, where she must perform all duties related to her expertise in granting wishes. Afterward, the whining genie approaches Magnus to appeal her assignment since people on Earth are greedy and hopeless. However, Magnus attests that Earth's people are slowly changing for the better, and suggests considering it a goodwill mission. Despite Genie's protest, Magnus insists that she must accomplish her task without complaints due to her lousy record, or else she's banished to her bottle forever. Defeated, Genie leaves Magnus, who promises he will watch her closely. Soon after, Genie's lamp is at the beach, where she awaits someone to discover and summon her. Meanwhile, Scotty pushes his things along the beach, walking beside an old homeless beach bum, Gus, with whom he shares the same fate. On the other hand, Scotty's friends, Soup and Lars, enjoy themselves on beach chairs, planning to invite their helpless friend to a party that night. Then, a golf ball falls in front of them and the rich men who own the spot make them leave. That night, Lars, Soup, and Scotty attend the beach party while others avoid the rowdy group. Since he had done lawn work before, some wealthy people recognize Scotty, earning a particular interest from women. Later, Dana, the supermodel, steals attention from the crowd while Scotty eyes her from the bar. The hopeless romantic follows the woman inside as she watches the sea from a balcony. Shooting a shot, Scotty tells her about the magic of the sea, but Dana immediately turns him down, thinking he's another rich man trying to woo her with his wealth. However, the helpless man reveals that he's broke and asks her to stroll the beach with him. Suddenly, Dana's companion interrupts to fetch the woman and ignores the friendly bum. Miserable, Scotty grabs a bottle of alcohol and drinks it at the beach alone. Intoxicated, Scotty sits beside Gus and asks for advice. Then, Gus hands him a mysterious lamp and a blanket, saying that it is all he needs. Lying on the bench, Scotty hugs the lamp and wishes for a warm bed and a couple of hot women, unaware of the magical vessel he holds as he sleeps. The following day, Scotty relishes his comfortable sleep when he suddenly sits awake. The beach bum finds himself on a bed in the sand with unclothed women beside him. Startled, Scotty asks the clueless women about what is going on when he hears a siren from a patrol guard approaching him. Then, Scotty grabs the lamp and runs away. He goes to a telephone booth and grabs the address book, looking for someone to answer his questions. Soon after, Scotty enters the Mystic's shop, where he finds sealed jars and other strange stuff. The owner, Mystic, welcomes the confused customer, who asks him about genies. Scotty learns that anything can be real as long as he believes. With nowhere else to go, Scotty enters the restroom and rubs the magic lamp to test its power. Thinking it's ridiculous, he drops the lamp and relieves himself in a stall. Suddenly, Genie approaches and startles the non-believer. The genie reveals that Scotty summoned her when he rubbed her lamp. Doubtful, Scotty tells her that she could be arrested for being in the men's room, so Genie challenges him to make another wish. The dubious man wishes to be showered and dressed in fresh clothes, so the magical woman snaps and grants her master's command. Ecstatic, Scotty starts believing the genie, who reminds him that there are rules they must discuss. At the beach, Genie tells her master that he's the only one who can see or hear her as they pass by onlookers who see Scotty talk to himself. Later, Scotty tells his genie about his recent misfortunes, so Genie asks what he wants. Just in time, the girl of his dreams walks by, so he waves at her. The supermodel mistakenly calls him Skippy before proceeding to her friends. Suddenly, Scotty remembers that he can wish for anything, so he wishes for Dana to fall for him instantly. Genie tries to stop him, but the hopeless romantic walks up to the supermodel. Scotty presumptuously grabs Dana by the waist and invites her to go back to her place with him. As the overly confident bum talks about their future together, Dana pours water on his head and pushes him to the sand. Dana's friends push him off the volleyball court while Genie explains that she can't grant wishes involving a person's heart. Since they can't see her, the volleyball player assumes that Scotty is talking back at him, infuriating him. Then, Scotty wishes he's the best volleyball player in the world and challenges the man in a 2-on-2 match. The player agrees and chooses the hot dog vendor Julie to be Scotty's partner. Afterward, the volleyball pros play their best against the two rookies, who beat them at their own game. Soon, Scotty finishes the match, defeating the two infuriated players. As the crowd cheers, Dana smiles as she finally notices Scotty. Later, Scotty goes to his friend's place who lives in a garage and introduces his invisible Genie. Soup and Lars eye him weirdly, so the Genie's master wishes for his friends to see Genie, which she grants happily. At the beach, Scotty wishes for their own beach club, so Genie conjures it in an empty space. Soon, the trio explores their enormous villa, and Genie leads them to Lars's room. Lars wishes his favorite band to play live in his room, so the magical woman grants it immediately. Genie asks what her master wants, who wishes something subtle yet effective to please Dana. Consequently, Scotty finds a pleasant interior when his friends barge in. Soup and Lars demand Genie for bizarre demands while the lucky man sees Gus outside, scavenging a dumpster. Indebted to the man, Scotty asks his Genie for $10,000 cash, to which Genie sighs. The magical woman grants, but reminds him about money's evilness, which he ignores. At the beach, Scotty gives Gus the money to buy himself more blankets, but the old man refuses to accept it. He reveals that he wants to work, so the lucky man offers him a fair-paying job. At the villa's bar, Scotty introduces Gus to Genie, who zaps herself in front of him. Then, Soup and Lars interrupt them and suggest they throw a party as they scrutinize the old beach bum. Afterward, the trio plans to invite a bunch of women to their party when they see news on the TV about an upcoming pageant. 25 finalists of the Miss International Beauty Pageant arrive in their country, so Scotty wishes for his friends to handle the event. Consequently, the reporter announces a night reception party in their beachfront residence. Later, Genie praises her master for considering Gus in his fortunes, who fetches Dana for the party. In the model's place, Gus delivers a bouquet and a dress, inviting her to attend the reception. Seeing the limousine, Dana asks who the host is, which the old man confirms to be Scotty. Meanwhile, Lars and Soup welcome their international guests inside the villa and stop Miss Iraq and Miss Kuwait from fighting. As the party commences, Soup and Lars fool around with their guests. Scotty thanks Genie for the fun evening, calling her an angel, which she corrects and explains that it's easy to grant a romantic dream. Then, Dana notices that the movie producer, Donald Burbank, who Scotty claims to be an old friend. At the same time, Genie fulfills her master's claim, so Burbank knowingly catches up with Scotty. The lucky man introduces Dana to the producer, who recognizes her commercial. Suddenly, Soup pulls his friend away from the group. Meanwhile, Genie observes Dana, who suspiciously eyes the producer passionately as he invites her to call him. Concurrently, Soup and Lars notice Miss Japan, who's nervous about the singing competition next week, so the duo encourages her and calls Genie for a wish. Upstairs, Scotty leads Dana to his room, where a live jazz band sets the mood. The supermodel asks about his job, so he teases that he owns a billion-dollar company. At the party, the crowd goes wild as Miss Japan owns the stage with her performance. Meanwhile, Scotty dismisses the band as he makes out with the girl of his dreams. Suddenly, Soup and Lars knock at his door, interrupting them. They introduce Miss Haiti and Miss Bermuda Triangle, who appear to be unseen. Then, Genie reminds her master that he doesn't want to be in a one-time relationship. However, in the heat of the moment, he claims he lied and closes the door in her face before resuming a steamy night with Dana. Later at the bar, Gus warmly offers a hand to the worried Genie, who smiles sadly. The following day, Scotty strolls the beach with Genie, insisting that nothing happened between him and Dana. He tells the magic woman he must rebrand to earn Dana's love, but Genie disagrees. She says that if the supermodel cares about him, she will accept him soon, so they agree to hold her master's drastic wishes and earn Dana's heart rightfully. At the art gallery, Scotty critiques an artwork while others look at him suspiciously as he talks to thin air. That night, Genie teaches her master about exquisite dishes in a fine dining restaurant, while the waiter eyes him weirdly. He also gets the woman's attention at the other table, who winks at him flirtatiously, so he pretends to practice for a commercial. Shortly after, Genie instructs Scotty how to dance, asking him to close his eyes as she stares at him longingly. The next night, Dana praises her date for his exemplary knowledge on art and lavish dishes at the same restaurant. As the couple make out on a picnic blanket, Genie reminds her master about their deal. Hesitatingly, Scotty stops and refuses Dana's request for them to continue before hastily ending his date night. Much later, while Soup and Lars play bingo with the pageant guests, Genie and her master watch TV in the other room. Then, Scotty turns the television off and places a bracelet on his Genie's wrist, calling her his friend. Grateful, Genie zaps a picture frame with her picture and gives it to him as a gift. Scotty says he has found the girl of his dreams and thanks Genie for helping him reach the fateful woman, Dana. Expecting, Genie sighs as the clueless man enters his room. In a shoot for a movie, the supermodel turned actress finishes her scene at the Burbank set. The producer greets Scotty, asks to borrow Dana, and follows her to her trailer. As Burbank browses the actress's portfolio, Genie appears invisible beside him. The magic woman observes as Dana flirts with the producer, who reciprocates her intentions. Afterward, Dana thanks Scotty for introducing her to Burbank. She then invites her partner to dinner at her house. Although jealous, Scotty accepts while Genie contemplates whether she must reveal her discovery. Meanwhile, Soup and Lars host a surfing activity for their guests and friend Kenny. Concurrently, Scotty informs Genie about his intentions of sleeping with Dana, despite their agreement to wait. The Genie disagrees, but the hopeless romantic assures the model genuinely likes him. As Genie probes his plan, she learns that Scotty plans on giving Dana a sensual massage, asking to make him a great masseuse. However, the magic woman says he needs to practice on her first. As Scotty massages Genie, she accidentally calls him by his name, but he dismisses her worries. Then, Scotty touches Genie's hand, which makes him back away and leave. Soon after, Scotty claims he can handle the situation independently and leaves without his Genie. That night, Genie finishes a romance movie on the TV when Dana's commercial comes up. Irritated, she throws her pizza at the screen. Afterward, she watches a basketball game when she sees her team losing. So she conjures the player in front of her and encourages him to win, which they do as the magic woman returns him. Meanwhile, Scotty gives his date a sensual massage, leading to a steamy exchange. In the middle of it, Genie zaps Dana into Scotty's mother, friend, and grandmother respectively. Disgusted, Scotty leaves without finishing his most awaited night, unaware that his Genie used her magic without his command. In her lamp, Magnus appears beside Genie, who reminds her of the rules about interfering with her master's life. Genie insists that she's saving Scotty from harm and confesses her love. Magnus warns her that a Genie's master must be the one to profess their love to free her from her spells. Crying, Genie nods, so Magnus warns her for the last time, or else she loses her magic and will remain on her lamp for eternity. On the day of the swimsuit competition, Soup and Lars attend to the finalists as they prepare for the event. Meanwhile, Genie asks her master about last night as they stroll at the beach. Scotty admits that the timing is not right and sees Dana with another man. Then, Genie says women like Dana won't settle with one guy and suggests looking for someone else. Nevertheless, Scotty plans making his lover jealous, to which Genie eagerly volunteers. So, the hopeless man wishes Genie to be visible and approaches Dana. The model tries to explain herself, but Scotty cuts her off. Suddenly, Genie kisses her master passionately and introduces herself to Dana. The jealous model pulls her lover to the side and promises not to see her old boyfriend anymore. As they reconcile, Scotty reveals Genie to be an old friend and invites Dana to be a contestant in the pageant. The magic woman rolls her eyes as the couple proceeds to the event. At the competition, Soup and Lars see an unlisted contestant on stage. Scotty recognizes the Genie, who also decided to join the pageant to win over her master. Soon, the host announces Genie, Miss Fantasyland, as the winner, which infuriates Dana. Afterward, Scotty pulls his Genie off stage and confronts her in the club. He wonders why she's still visible, so Genie explains that he hasn't wished her to return. Furious, Scotty asks why she suddenly sabotages their plan to win Dana's heart. The Genie explains that the model is not faithful, and says she wears Velcro underwear which Dana wore last night. Realizing that Genie was there all along, Scotty declares that he doesn't want any more wishes from her. Tear-stricken, Genie grants his command as he walks out. The magic woman sits beside Magnus, who informs her that her banishment will start at midnight. That night, Soup and Lars, dressed in winter clothes, ask Genie in her lamp to grant them another wish. However, Gus reveals that she won't grant wishes as she's facing her ultimate punishment. In his room, Scotty shares a hot night with Dana when he sees the picture Genie gave him. Scotty reminisces his memories with her and comes to terms with his sincerest emotions. Then he stops Dana from going further and leaves. At the bar, Scotty looks for Genie, so Gus tells him everything. Shortly after, Burbank arrives and asks Gus for a strong drink before proceeding upstairs to Dana. At the beach, Scotty grabs the magic lamp on the sand and runs away from his friends, who pursue him on their snowshoes. Soon, Scotty arrives at the Mystic shop, but Soup and Lars catch him and try to steal the lamp. Fortunately, Gus comes and holds the duo back. Afterward, Mystic allows the desperate man to enter his shop. Scotty explains the situation and asks the owner for help, so Mystic simply tells him to say what he wants to the magic woman. However, he warns that the Genie might lose her power and everything granted to him. Soup and Lars try to stop their friend outside the shop, but Scotty professes his love before midnight strikes. Suddenly, Genie appears beside him as a normal human being who confesses as well. The couple shares a kiss, promising a future together. Meanwhile, the patrol guards arrest Dana and Burbank under the sheets in the middle of the beach. Unfortunately, the beach club and the producer's memories of his supposed friend are gone. As they drag the pair into the patrol car, the guard thanks Gus, who watches Genie and Scotty happily stroll the beach. Gus laughs, revealing himself as Magnus O'Leary, just as Genie fulfills Scotty's wish of a happy ever after.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.